What is your take on the film? Because when I'm watching it, based on the trailers and my kind of preconceived notions of the film, I kind of think that it's one type of movie. But what surprised me was that there's all these different other things going on. I don't know if you can tell me what your take on it is.
Well, why don't you tell me what type of movie you thought it was?
I thought it was an Armageddon film. So
Okay.
going into that, based on trailers and things, but there's more to it than.
Well, what separates this movie from, I think, other movies that deal with disasters is that there is a strong spiritual core to the film. And that becomes increasingly more important as we get closer to the finish of the film. The lead character is Professor John Kessler, and this man who I play is someone who's going through an awakening and a catharsis of sorts, dealing with whether or not everything just happens randomly in a chaotic way, or if there is a predetermined order to things and therefore a divine mind. And by the end of it, I think he's awakening to the idea that there is something else. Yeah.
What's kind of interesting also is it really, I mean, even though there's images of huge disasters and things, but it's really a four-character piece. I mean, it really is between a father and a son and this other woman. Playing a movie like that where it's actually really intimate, can you maybe kind of expand on that?
Well, for one thing, I was very happy to do a character in a large-style film dealing with a single father and a positive relationship with his son. Largely because in my own life, and I dedicate this movie to my oldest son, Weston, there have been many movies made about mothers and their children, but not so much about single fathers and their children. There is an unfortunate gender bias out there in the world that because you're a man, you do not have the aptitude with which to raise your kids, and that's not right. So I wanted to do a movie where I can show something positive in the archetype of father and son. And a lot of some of the dialogue that came out of my own personal relationship with my son went into the movie, which is why I dedicated it to him through our own little experiences with that family dynamic, which was just me and him.
Were there any things during the filming of this film, because you're talking about putting yourself into the script and maybe throwing something that surprised you of your relationship with your own child? Then did you kind of take anything out of this to go back home?
No, there was nothing in this movie that I learned. I mean, there was no awakening. The awakening had already happened before I decided to make the movie. That's why I made the movie, because I felt like I had the emotional resources and the life experiences to play this part. Plus, the things I was thinking about at that time intersect with the philosophies of the movie. Also, without mentioning any names, I've left a lot of money on the table recently, not doing Bang Bang, You're Dead, because I wanted to apply myself to a movie that I thought would give you all the entertainment and the spectacle without resorting to gratuitous violence, and knowing fell into that. So I felt like I could be happy about my choice and happy about the positive aspects of that. Which is not to say that I haven't made Bang Bang shoot 'em up movies. We all know I have, but I'm just trying to, I'm trying to do better.
There's a sequence in this film that is really amazing to watch, which is the plane crash sequence, and I'm wondering, what was it like to shoot that? Because I know the director wanted it to be a one shot, and with CGI and all that kind of stuff played into it. How does one kind of, as an actor, go through?
Yeah, well, it's a good question because it'll give you a little insight into what we do as actors on camera. But it's like you don't act. There are people, stunt people, but people nonetheless who are on fire. And it's one shot. If you look carefully, it's one shot. So how do you do that and not make a mistake? Because if you make a mistake, somebody really could get hurt. Well, you don't have to act. I mean, it's all there. I'm genuinely worried about those people. I don't have to imagine it. There are people on fire. That I can imagine it, but in that case, I didn't need to imagine it. So it sort of did its own work for me.
You have some really great scenes with the kid who plays your son, and I'm just wondering, what was it like? What was the rehearsal process like with him? And did you feel a bit of like a paternal kind of instinct when you were shooting things? Did you feel like he needed any protection to what's the storyline going, or did you feel like he had a good grasp of what's going on?
Oh no. Chandler is a total professional and an excellent actor. I didn't need to tell him anything about acting. Did I feel paternal? More uncle. I would rather be considered more like an uncle. Am I concerned for his future? I first of all, I love children, and I care about my fellow actors. So, I don't want to see him go into that whole kind of insidious publicity machine that is TMZ and all that garbage that goes on in Hollywood. But fortunately, he has a very close-knit, loving family that protect him from all that crap because they live in Texas. So he's going to be just fine. And he is talented, so we're going to be seeing a lot of him.
A lot of times when I ask actors who have had a long career, and I'm just wondering, do you feel that you could have done this film ages ago, or is this one of those things that just kind of, like, how fate kind of kicks into certain things? And, like, do you feel this came at the right time for you?
Yeah, I could not have done this ages ago. This came at the right time.
I want to ask about working with Rose, because you have some really great scenes with her, and I'm just wondering what was it like to play off somebody who seems to be really like in the moment, and did you throw things at her, and was she able to kind of like swing back at you and to do some interesting stuff?
Yeah, Rose is super serious about her work. She doesn't really play outside of that. It's more about the here and now and what's the job. She has a marvelous gift for accents. I've never seen such a flawless American accent from an Australian before. It was an entirely serious professional relationship, and I think the results are good ones. But she's a facile actress, and there's nothing you can do to throw her off her feet.
Last question then. If you knew the fate of the end of the world coming, like, how would your survival instincts kick in? Would you rather not know? What kind of reaction would you personally have?
Well, look, I mean, whenever danger is about to occur in terms of your children, of course you want to know, you want to prevent it. But if you're talking about something like the end of the world, I think I want to know like a day in advance, but I wouldn't want to know 10 years in advance.
It'll be a hard burden. Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you. Thank you.
Nice talking with you.
Thanks a lot.